I was born in Chicago. My parents divorced when I was about 8 years old. Moved around quite a bit. Ended up going to Wake Forest in North Carolina. Met my wife there. We got married right after I graduated college. Started our life in Winston-Salem. My job as a financial advisor started going really well, and I reached a point where I was looking around and I realized that I've got a great wife, great kids. I'm making more money than I thought I would make. I reached a point where I just sort of had this inner thing going on that was like, is this it? Is this all there is? And I kind of recall feeling sort of empty, like, is my whole purpose in life now to just continue to make more money and accumulate more stuff? I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty good dad, I'm a good husband, but I mean, what am I here for? I'd kind of made a note to myself, a New Year's resolution, that I really wanted to go on a Christian men's retreat for the first time. I'd never done that. There were about 25 guys. They had a prayer. It was humorous. They had a speaker. It was meaningful, and I started to think, okay, these are guys that I can relate to. They were not talking about their fame and fortune and wealth. They were stripping it down, talking about some of their insecurities, talking about how they had failed at certain things, and it just made them seem very real to me. And I thought, my gosh, you know, I haven't heard this from a guy in my entire life. Well, we have this annual retreat. Well, at the time it was sold out, and actually one of the local guys couldn't go, and so Jay says, hey, we've got a spot that's opened up if anybody wants it. And I mean, as soon as that meeting was over, I was like, Jay, that's mine. I'm meant to go to this. I just remember basically at the end of one of the sessions said, you know, if you're just feeling like this is, you know, the time that you know, you're just ready. You're ready to not do this on your own, and that you're ready to just, you know, basically give it up to Christ, and that's all you have to do. He said, just sit there, just raise your hand silently. And so I was like, well, sure. And I raised my hand. Of course, I'm thinking like the whole room of 250 guys is raising their hand, and basically there were about, I think, 6 or 8 of us, and it was, you know, sort of an altar call kind of thing. And so we ended up walking up, and I was really glad I did it, because it was my way of accepting and taking what Christ had you know, given to me, and all I had to do is accept it. It wasn't like a bolt of lightning or anything, but it was just a very different feeling, and I started you know, viewing things differently, and that concept of grace for the first time at that retreat just sunk in. I'm sure I'd heard it at, you know, my services on Sunday mornings, but for whatever reason I just kept keeping this list of good and bad, and had never really let that concept of grace seep through. We as Christians should be the most humble people on earth, because this grace is just given to us, and all we had to do is accept it. And I'm no better than anybody else, you know, on this earth. I'm just thankful of what Christ did for me, and that I can be relieved of my sins and have a greater purpose in my life. That it's not about, you know, the bigger house and the bigger car and the bigger pocketbook. It's about just wanting to give back, just in thanks and in awe of what Christ has done for me. If you're feeling that little hole in your heart like I was, you know, you will realize that you were made for more. And it took me a while to realize that, but through guys that I met through this great group, and becoming closer to Jesus, I realized that is certainly true.